World Liberty Financial. Trump's new crypto play. What in the heck is World Liberty Financial? Trump's crypto empire just took another leap forward with the launch of World Liberty Financial, the ecosystem that is behind World Liberty Financial Governance Token and a US dollar-pegged stablecoin known as USD1. Launched in 2024, this project is not just another meme coin that's tied loosely to Trump's branding. It is being positioned as a full-scale DeFi platform with global ambitions. And at the center of it all are Trump's family members and co-founder Zach Witkoff, who has stepped into the spotlight as the public face of the venture. This mix of politics, high finance, and blockchain tech, it makes this project unlike anything that we have ever seen before in crypto. Welcome back to another episode of JRNY TV, where we make the complex world of digital finance not so complex for everyone, regardless of their experience. My name is Nick, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the Trump family's latest crypto move, what World Liberty Financial actually is, how World Liberty Financial token launch created a $5 billion paper fortune overnight, why this project is already stirring ethical and regulatory controversy, and whether or not it has the potential to become a legitimate player in DeFi, or if it is destined to remain a political spectacle. Now here is why this matters. Unlike past Trump-linked projects like American Bitcoin or his string of meme coins, World Liberty Financial is being marketed as a serious financial ecosystem. And at its core, World Liberty Financial is the governance and speculative token, while USD1 is meant to function as the stable, transactional layer of the network. And together they're pitched as a counterweight to central bank digital currencies, a financial system that aligns with pro-liberty, nationalist messaging, and Trump's broader political narrative. But make no mistake, when you attach billions in token value directly to a sitting US president, the stakes are higher. The scrutiny is sharper. And the consequences, good or bad, they could ripple far beyond just the crypto market itself. The Trump's family World Liberty Financial token launch and $5 billion paper gain. The launch of World Liberty Financial wasn't just another token debut. It was one of the most explosive entries crypto has seen in years. The moment trading went live, the Trump family's allocation of World Liberty Financial tokens translated into a staggering $5 billion paper fortune. To put that into perspective, this wasn't some speculative meme coin pump. That valuation was instantly on par with the market caps of long-standing altcoins that have been building for years, not days. And in one move, Trump's family, it leapfrogged into the upper echelon of crypto wealth, drawing headlines across both financial and political circles. The windfall here is significant because it highlights how different token launches are compared to traditional IPOs. When a company does go public, regulatory guardrails limit how much insiders can profit on day one and how shares are priced for the market. But with a token launch, especially one that's tied to a high-profile figure like Trump, those barriers, they simply just don't exist. And that's why the World Liberty Financial debut sparked immediate debate. Was this genuine confidence in a new financial platform, or was it simply the result of headline-driven speculation that was amplified by Trump's name recognition? Either way, the supporters argued that the Trump family's heavy stake is a show of commitment. If World Liberty Financial succeeds, so does the Trump portfolio, thus aligning their incentives with long-term growth. But those critics are also warning that it concentrates enormous influence in the hands of one political family, making World Liberty Financial's valuation as much about politics as it is about technology. And with billions of dollars on the line, before the project has even proven itself, the $5 billion paper gain has become the centerpiece of a broader conversation. Is this the birth of a groundbreaking DeFi ecosystem? Or is this the setup for a political and financial powder keg? Buckle up. World Liberty Financial's wild price swings at launch. As if the $5 billion paper fortune wasn't dramatic enough, the actual trading of World Liberty Financial was even more chaotic. Within minutes of launch, the token rocketed past 30 cents, pushing its market cap into the billions of dollars. But just as quickly, that bottom dropped out. Prices plunged nearly 50% in a brutal correction before bouncing back in a dizzying rebound. For seasoned crypto traders, this kind of volatility was nothing new. But what made it stand out was the context. This wasn't just a speculative coin from anonymous developers. This was a token tied directly to a US president, and every tick of its price was magnified across mainstream headlines everywhere. The backdrop created a feedback loop unlike anything that most tokens could ever experience. Each price swing became breaking news. Each headline attracted more traders, speculators, and skeptics, thus fueling even sharper moves in both directions. For some, it was irresistible opportunity, a chance to ride the volatility and snag quick profits. However, for others, it reinforced the fear that World Liberty Financial was not built on solid tokenomics or utility, but rather on spectacle and political branding. The debate here became less about where World Liberty Financial's price would land and a lot more about whether or not it was a financial experiment or a media-driven sideshow. Analysts here are pointing out that this kind of launch chaos is almost inevitable when liquidity is thin, supply is concentrated, and demand comes from hype-driven retail traders. With so many tokens locked up in the Trump family's allocation, even modest selling pressure, it caused outsized price swings. And meanwhile, bots and speculators piled in, amplifying every move. The result was a roller coaster opening week that left early buyers split between triumph and regret. But in true crypto fashion, volatility, it cuts both ways. And for those who are willing to stomach the risk, well, World Liberty Financial's opening days, they offered exactly the kind of opportunity that defines the speculative edge of this industry. Vesting schedules and conflict of interest concerns. Now, while that $5 billion paper fortune grabbed those headlines, there's a critical detail that often gets buried in the noise. Those tokens are locked under a vesting schedule. And this means that the Trump family cannot immediately dump the entire allocation on the open market. That is a big deal. Because in theory, vesting is meant to show long-term commitment and protect retail investors from insider sell-offs. But when you're talking about billions of dollars in token value tied to a US president, the optics here become a lot more complicated than your average crypto setup. So, critics here are arguing that the Trump family's massive stake raises unprecedented conflict of interest questions. Every single public statement that Trump makes about crypto, or even the broader financial policy, it could now be viewed through the lens of his family's personal holdings. So if World Liberty Financial goes up, he will benefit directly, thus intertwining politics, influence, and private wealth like we have never seen before. And this is virtually unheard of in digital assets. It's also fueling concerns that World Liberty Financial isn't just a financial experiment. It is a test case for how politics and crypto collide. On the flip side, supporters spin the vesting as a positive. By locking up the tokens, the Trump family is theoretically aligned with the success of the ecosystem over the long run. But if they cannot sell immediately, their only option is to grow the project, expand the partnerships, and push the adoption forward of World Liberty Financial and the USD1 stablecoin. But even then, the skeptics caution that the vesting only delays the inevitable. Once cliffs expire and tokens begin unlocking, large insider allocations could trigger heavy sell pressure, thus adding another layer of uncertainty for the investors. Whether it's confidence building or a ticking time bomb depends entirely on how the family and the regulators handle those future unlocks. World Liberty Financial's ecosystem. At the very center of all this buzz is World Liberty Financial, the company behind World Liberty Financial and its companion stablecoin USD1. Bet that World Liberty Financial isn't positioning itself as just another speculative crypto project. Instead, it is branding itself as a new kind of freedom finance ecosystem, thus built around stablecoin value, tokenized assets, and community participation. On paper, though, that makes World Liberty Financial the governance and utility token that ties it all together, while USD1 acts as the stable backbone that could attract mainstream adoption. It is an ambitious vision, one that aims to blend financial innovation with cultural and political branding. The project's marketing, it leans heavily into themes of independence, sovereignty, and alternative finance. This is not by accident. By framing itself as a financial ecosystem outside of traditional institutions, World Liberty Financial is appealing directly to a demographic that feels underserved or even betrayed by legacy banks and governments. World Liberty Financial then becomes more than just a token. It's pitched as a symbol of alignment with those values, a way for the investors to finally put their money where their beliefs are. So whether or not you see this as clever branding or maybe opportunistic hype, that will depend largely on how you view the intersection of finance and ideology. Still, even beyond the branding, World Liberty Financial faces serious operational challenges. Building a functioning ecosystem requires more than just slogans. It needs liquidity, real-world use cases, regulatory compliance, and don't forget the sustained developer interest. The stablecoins are notoriously difficult to scale and secure, and governance tokens, they live or die by the strength of the communities that back them. So if World Liberty Financial can deliver a stable USD1 and an engaged World Liberty Financial economy, it could carve out a unique niche in the market. But if the execution falters, the entire vision, it risks being remembered as just another short-lived experiment in hype-driven tokenomics. Crypto's reaction and market speculation. The launch of World Liberty Financial didn't just ripple through traditional news outlets. It sent shockwaves across crypto Twitter, or X, trading forums, and Telegram groups worldwide. Traders were split right down the middle. On one side, you had opportunists that were calling World Liberty Financial the next meme coin rocket, fueled by the kind of global attention that most projects could only dream of. However, on the other side, you had skeptics that were dismissing it outright as nothing more than just a politically charged stunt. that was destined to fizzle out once the hype cycle cooled off. But that split in perception only added more fuel to the fire, thus driving trading volumes even higher and keeping World Liberty Financial in that spotlight well beyond its chaotic first week. Speculation around World Liberty Financial quickly bled into broader crypto narratives. Some argued that the token could become a new form of political meme coin, very similar to how Dogecoin or Shiba Inu captured attention, but with a far more polarizing twist. Others, they tended to see it as a proxy bet on Trump himself, a way for investors to speculate on his political fortunes in parallel with his financial interests. And that made World Liberty Financial something bigger than just another ticker symbol that was on the charts. It became a cultural talking point, drawing in not just crypto traders, but also political commentators and even traditional investors who normally wouldn't touch this space. Of course, with attention comes the virality. Exchanges reported huge spikes in World Liberty Financial trading pairs, with liquidity pools swinging wildly as retail and bots were piling in. Those analysts were warning that such speculative behavior, it could burn inexperienced traders just as quickly as it could mint overnight winners. Yet, in crypto, hype itself is often a utility because visibility brings liquidity, and liquidity tends to bring the opportunity. So regardless of whether or not you believe that World Liberty Financial ends up being a lasting player in the footnote in crypto history, its explosive debut reminded the market of a simple truth. In this industry, narrative is everything. The regulatory storm clouds. As World Liberty Financial surged in attention, it inevitably caught the eye of regulators and policymakers alike. And here's the challenge. Crypto is already in the crosshairs of US regulators, and when you add Trump's name in the mix, the scrutiny only intensifies. Some legal analysts immediately raised red flags, questioning whether or not World Liberty Financial may be classified as an unregistered security, or whether or not it could even blur into the territory of political contributions. And that gray area makes World Liberty Financial not just a financial experiment, but a potential legal lightning rod. On Capitol Hill, those reactions, they were quite mixed. Pro-crypto lawmakers hinted that World Liberty Financial, it could highlight the need for clearer digital asset frameworks, while the skeptics were viewing it as yet another example of the Wild West reputation the industry has struggled to shake. Behind the scenes though, the insiders, they're suggesting that the SEC and the CFTC, they may already be evaluating World Liberty Financial's structure, liquidity sources, as well as disclosures, especially if it continues to attract institutional scale money. And that looming threat of regulatory intervention, it keeps traders cautious, even as the speculators try to ride that wave. But at the end of the day, the World Liberty Financial token isn't just battling the market, it is battling the perception in Washington. If regulators do decide to make an example of it, bet that World Liberty Financial could face serious headwinds. But if it does survive the scrutiny, it may set an entirely new precedent for politically linked tokens. But in either case, the message here is clear. World Liberty Financial's future, it won't just be decided on charts or in a Telegram group. It will be decided in courtrooms and committee hearings. What World Liberty Financial means for crypto's future. World Liberty Financial is not just another quirky experiment. It is a glimpse into what could be the next frontier of digital assets. For years, crypto has been about money, memes, and decentralized tech. But World Liberty Financial, it shows what happens when politics, identity, and finance collide in one token. This is a signal that crypto is no longer staying in its own lane, but rather bleeding into mainstream power structures that could reshape how investors, policymakers, and everyday users in the future think about this space. If World Liberty Financial does prove it is sustainable, it could inspire a wave of politically or socially aligned tokens, each tied to movements, leaders, or even ideologies. And that's both exciting and risky. On one hand, it could drive mass adoption, onboarding people who might otherwise never touch a wallet. But on the other, it could drag crypto deeper into polarized debates, with tokens becoming proxies for cultural wars. Imagine markets swinging not just on Fed rates or Bitcoin halvings, but on election polls and campaign speeches. Zooming out though, World Liberty Financial represents a stress test for crypto's maturity overall. If it thrives, it shows that the industry is resilient enough to handle the experiments that merge politics and finance. If it does collapse though, it will be a cautionary tale about hype cycles and blurred boundaries. Either way though, it is forcing the community and the regulators to confront a new reality. Crypto isn't just about tech anymore. It is about power, influence, and the narrative that people choose to believe. The final word on World Liberty Financial. So, where does this exactly leave us for World Liberty Financial Token? On one hand, it's a meme coin with Trump's name stamped all over it. Volatile, it's definitely risky and very controversial. But on the other hand, it is a symbol of how far that crypto has come, breaking out of Discord servers and into the center stage of politics and finance worldwide. Love it or hate it, World Liberty Financial is a reminder that this market isn't just about charts and code anymore. It's about culture, it is about identity, and it is about influence. So the real question here isn't just whether or not World Liberty Financial will keep pumping. It's whether or not it marks the start of a bigger trend. Will we see more politically backed tokens? Will regulators step in hard? Or will the market simply move on to the next shiny object? One thing is certain though, World Liberty Financial has already carved out its name into the story of this cycle, and it won't be forgotten anytime soon. But now, we would love to hear from you. Do you think World Liberty Financial Token is a revolutionary step for crypto? Or is it just another flash in the pan meme coin? Be sure to drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get this conversation started. And if you did find this video helpful in any way, please do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and tap that little notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive. And as always, do remember, the future belongs to those who start preparing for it today. Thanks again for watching JRNY TV. My name is Nick, and we will see you in the next one.